setting up your redirecting to YouTube. Here we go. And welcome back to the Crypto Hulk program. I don't know if we're live. I think we are. Let me wait for some people here to show up. And I had a previous show on. I ended it, so people should be joining right here. Today's program, we got Caleb Brown here. We've got some information we talked about earlier in my program. Australia, we had news this morning that Australia was hooking up with crypto and they were getting laws set up. We'll ask Jim here in a minute if he's heard about anything on that. For what it looked like in the morning show, the Australian Senate was ready to vote on some crypto framework or something like that. That was pretty exciting. In Australia, you guys have Dilip Rao helping you. That's a Ripple executive that quit about 4 years ago, went to go work for the Australian government to get you guys all set up. Congratulations, you're lucky. That's one of the things we might touch on. And I'm going to let Jim take it from here just to say a hello and introduction, and then we'll get into the show. We'll have a shorter program today. It'll end in about 50 minutes or so. And so it'll be, instead of an hour, hour and 5 or 10, it'll be 50 minutes. So let's get the questions in. Jim, hello.
Hey, Hulk, thanks for having me back on. And I know it's been a while, so great to be back on the show and excited to talk about all things crypto. And yeah, as you said, there's some interesting developments in Australia that we can definitely talk about. For those that I'm sure a lot of you are probably sick of seeing my face, but for a lot of people that already know about Caleb Brown, this might seem like a bit of repetition. But for anyone that has never heard about what we do at CMB, we're a global cryptocurrency brokerage. So we help clients buy, sell, and swap crypto, but do so in a personalized, high-touch institutional manner. And so every client that works with us gets their own dedicated broker. You have someone to reach out to and speak to about your particular portfolio. And ultimately, we're here to help you get the best results possible in the crypto space and become more educated and informed about the cryptocurrency landscape, similar to why you listen to Hulk to learn more about this space. So yeah, we'll treat today as a session where you can ask any questions about the market, Caleb and Brown. I'm really here to answer any questions related to crypto or the broader macro world. And we usually try and do these every 2 weeks. We had a bit of a break just because I was actually in the US recently. But yeah, we'll try and do this every couple of weeks. But please send through your questions and hopefully find this session insightful.
Jim, what are you able to tell us anything about the United States? Are you guys going to have any more offices, or what is SwiftX? What can you talk about that's going to happen with the United States?
Yeah, so I mean, look, for anyone that isn't aware on the call, we've got our headquarters here in Melbourne, Australia. That's where the business really grew to what it is today, and that's where it got started. But we're very much a US focused business. Caleb and Brown's client base is around 74% based in the US. So we're really a US focused entity. And that's represented by the fact that we've now got an office location within Fort Lauderdale. That's been officially now communicated to the broader world. We've had the office now for the best part of 8 or 9 months. But as you can imagine, we've moved a lot of our team from Caleb and Brown in Australia to the US. There's just a lot that we needed to get organized before we wanted to publicly make that announcement. But we've got a team of 11 or 12 strong now in our Florida office. And certainly the plan is definitely long-term to expand that into other areas of the US. I think we're pretty happy right now with where we're at in Florida. It's a really great area. We had a chance to meet with a lot of our clients when I was there recently. So that's the start of many things to come. Obviously, we need to be conscious of where we're at in the market. We're in a bit of a downturn, and that's obviously impacted by interest levels in crypto. I think the people that are still staying strong and interested, like the many of you on this live stream, are the ones that are going to do really well because when everyone's not focused on or interested in it, that's sort of the best time to get involved. So for us right now, we're really rooted in Florida, and we think that that's a great place for us to start. But there's no doubt long term, look, we have a lot of clients on the West Coast, a lot in the middle part of America as well. Long term, we want to end up in other areas and have that office presence because we know clients want that. But for now, we're pretty happy with how we've set up in Florida, and the office is going really well. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
Now, one of the questions I get a lot is, um, I'm an American citizen. What happens if Australian government gets silly and tries doing stuff, taking our crypto or whatever? I'm like, look, Caleb Brown has offices in the United States. So if you live in the United States, you'll be falling under US law. So whatever happens in Australia, it happens to Australians. Can you please help? Because some new people are concerned, like, well, what if the Australian government does this or that? They're going to shut off my crypto. I'm like, well, where do you live? And they're like, I live in New York, whatever, the United States. So could you please kind of break that down a little bit?
Yeah, sure. And it's a very common question that I get all the time. And so I want to be clear, if you're a US citizen and you decide to sign up and work with us, you'll fall under our US entity. And so you'll have all the rights and obligations of a US citizen. You're effectively engaging with our US company. So you're not engaging with our headquarters here in Australia. Obviously, you may engage with some of the people that work here because we have account managers, support staff. A lot of our operations is within Australia, but I want to be really clear that your assets are very much protected and you're the beneficial owner of those assets. So even in the incredibly unlikely scenario, I want to stress that it is not ever going to happen that the Australian government would force us to give up our assets. Even if they were to do that, they wouldn't actually have any exposure to client assets. They would only have exposure to the company assets because we're not the beneficial owner of the assets that we custody for clients. You are as the client. So that's very clear in our terms of business. It's also quite unique and different compared to, say, exchanges where, look, I personally experienced with FTX in the past where my assets were on that platform and I had to go through a creditor claim process. That would not occur in this scenario. You're the legal beneficial owner of the asset. So that's something we always trying to stress to clients. And if you're still not 100% sure on that, we don't charge for custody and we don't force clients to custody with us. So you can still use our brokerage service and trade through us. And if you have a hardware wallet that you want to use, you can always use that instead. This is certainly just a custody solution that we think is really beneficial for most people because it's far more secure than handling it yourself.
Somebody writes here, what USA states don't you work with? I'm trying to open an account in New York City and it was denied. So tell everybody what United States states that you don't work in.
Yeah, sorry, Rich, for that. It's literally just New York, and that's not
Okay.
by design. We have a big appreciation for New York, and a lot of the great crypto entrepreneurs and a lot of great things have come out of New York related to crypto. Unfortunately, one of the, I would say, restrictive things that's come out of New York, though, is the government there has made it incredibly difficult to operate as digital asset business within New York. It requires what's called a bit license. Now, every state, or at least most states, require you to have some sort of licensing to operate there. We've obviously satisfied those requests. But for New York specifically, it can take up to 2 to 3 years to get this bit license. There's very few entities outside of your large ones like Coinbase that have actually got it. And it can take, as I said, up to 2 or 3 years, but it's very expensive to get as well. So yeah, New York's unfortunately just the only state within the US that we don't operate in. Now, we hope to get our bit license. We're very much in the process of doing that. But as I said, that could be a really long time away. So yeah, unfortunately for our New York residents, we can't work with you, but we hope that will change in the future.
I got something here about Bank Social. Is it possible that Kalen Brown is has custody for Bank Social? Have you ever heard anything about that?
I remember we spoke about Bank Social a bit of time ago. As of right now, we don't custody it. There's just not a lot of liquidity in the market for Bank Social. If correct me if I'm wrong, but the ticker's BSL. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a Hedera base.
Yeah, yeah. It's a really small market cap asset. It's got sort of less than 10 million market cap, and if I'm looking at the trade 24-hour trade volume, it's around 7 or 8K. So for us, that's really small. If you think about the large amount of clients that we work with and also the net worth of a lot of these clients, we need to be able to sufficiently list something that we can get enough liquidity in. But more importantly, there's a lot of trade volume in as well. And so Bank Social is one that, look, any token that this community requests us to look into, we will. But right now, there's not enough liquidity in the market for us to list it. Simply because if we do list something and then there's a lot of demand for it, that's where clients won't be able to get any liquidity for that asset. So Bank Social is not one at this stage that we can list.
Uh, Pies, Pies Shark 69. I don't know if I quite understand. Uh, Hulk, is it still worth getting your $500 Hulk membership, comma, lawyer, even no Caleb and Brown? I don't quite understand that question. Um, I'll leave it at that. Thank you for the $10. I'm try to reword that question a little better. And you don't have to pay again. There's not a lot of people here right now, so just rephrase that question. I can answer it for you because right now I might give you a wrong answer. I don't want to do that. Um, Ron Weber says keep my bags with Caleb Brown. Keep up the great work. Oh, Brian Edwards wants to know any chance of holding Constellation DAG again?
Constellation DAG, I can certainly look into that one.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, that may have migrated potentially. Let me have a look into that one specifically. The DAG. No, DAG didn't migrate, sorry. But yeah, I think for DAG right now, again, it's a difficult one for us to custody. So, when it comes to whether we list something, a big element is can we actually custody it in Fireblocks? Because we don't really want to list something that then there's any counterparty risk exposure for us having to hold it elsewhere. So yeah, for us, it's a really tricky one to custody. So that's where it's only on a sell only basis. So if you are holding some that you wish to sell, I believe you can sell through us. But at this stage, it's really hard for us to custody DAG. That may change in the future, but it really depends on our custody solution and what they support.
Okay. New York Krish says, thank you, Crypto Hulk, for all that you do for this community. I try my best. And what I do for you guys is this. It's nothing special. It's just called work. A lot of work. I look up cryptos. I find the connections. If they have governments connected to them, banks, venture capital, institutions, academic institutions, other cryptos working with them. And we look at them. What are they doing? What function are they serving? Um, and that does take a lot of work. But eventually you guys have to make your own decisions. Look, a crypto can have all the connections. It doesn't mean it's going to be successful. What I do is I just show you the evidence that I find, and you got to make your own decision. Do you want to buy a particular crypto and take a risk? Some cryptos that look really good 3 years ago probably are out of business today, some of them. So, and look, crypto constantly changes. Sometimes one crypto is taken over by another. Sometimes two or three cryptos join to put another one out of business. Sometimes an AI might come in and put 5 or 10 cryptos out of business. So everything keeps changing, and that's why it's important to watch this show. Whatever information I have, or Caleb Brown comes up with information, or they see trends that are occurring. That's why we have this show to keep you updated on, because stuff changes, man. Like, it's not going to be the same with this new technology. Stuff happens so fast. This AI stuff, the longer that this goes, that AI moves faster and faster, and things change. So that's why we have these every 2 weeks. So Jim gives you an update, I give you an update, and we are going to try as much as we can to keep up on this. So let me look at the next comments or questions. You are in the United States. If government wants to take crypto, will you? You are in. Okay, this is from Lamenden Entertainment. You are in the US. If the government wants to take your crypto, will you let them? Okay, look, everybody. I'm not trying to start a battle with the government. Um, so I don't really know. Look, I don't really know what that question means, so I'm going to kind of let that go too. Here's a good question. Joe, 8856. Jim, is there a fee charged to move my XRP from the ledger to my new Caleb and Brown account?
No fee for that, Joe. And so I just saw you sent a follow-up message. There is absolutely no fees on our end to do any transfers. You mentioned that there may be a gas fee. That would likely be the case, depending on the asset that you're looking to move over. If you're doing it through, say, Ledger Live or whatever app you're using. But in terms of just moving assets over to Calvin Brown and using our custody solution, there's no fee for that. The only time you'll ever be charged with us is on an actual transaction of a trade. So a buy, sell, or swap. But yeah, if you're just moving assets over, there's no fee associated with that.
Here's a good question. AJ Singh, Hulk, quick question. New York resident, sucks being you. So he cannot sign up for Caleb Brown. Does it make sense to self-custody and still sign up with Anderson? That's a legal question. Now, let me tell you something. Now, I'm just taking a guess here, but if we go to a United States has everybody's following the same crypto laws, right? If we go to where we have a national framework and all the states follow the same pathway, then it's possible maybe one day Caleb Brown opens up in New York. I mean, if the government says every state will have the same thing, well, then there it go. That bit license thing will just change. If the government, we're talking about if the United States government says every state will have this kind of a bit license, then yeah. So we're not saying Caleb Brown never is going to be in New York. Might be a year, maybe two. It depends on what the government does. It depends on what the state of New York does. So now, as far as your other question with the lawyer, that would be a question you have to talk to them about. Call them up. I mean, go under my link here, click on the Crypto Hulk lawyer, which I need to put. Um, and Jim, I'll let you kind of handle some questions so I can put my link up there.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just go through some of the other questions that are in the chat. So Walk of Life asked, what does the market cap and trading volume for liquidity need to be so crypto can be listed on your platform or brought back? Unfortunately, there's no sort of hard and fast rule around, hey, the asset needs to be at a certain market cap or liquidity, or even just like average trade volume, because it's dependent on a range of factors, not only those factors, but things like who's the team, what's the asset, where else is it traded, is it on the major exchanges or not? Certainly, the market cap needs to be over, I would say, 100 million or, around there would make things a lot easier. And would like to see trade volume, daily be ideally in the six figures or seven figures. But again, there's no hard and fast rule on those numbers. But with that specific token we mentioned before, it would need to be a far larger amount for us to be able to consider it, just simply because of the size of client book we have as a business. So Dominic James says, as we see the crypto laws are coming in, are you guys still looking further into the yield, stake, and rewards products to leverage the assets we are holding with you? It's a really good question. The answer is absolutely. We've, ever since we started back in 2016, have been purely a spot platform. So for clients just to buy spot crypto through us, we've never had a scenario where we've offered sort of a different approach to buying, whether that's through leverage trading or what have you. But we want to innovate as a business. We understand this space is continually evolving. And part of that has been able to provide more optionality for clients that want to either lend their products out or, their assets out, or they want to stake their assets to earn yield generation. We understand that people want to do more with their underlying asset. Now, that comes with a lot more complexity and in a lot of cases, a lot more risk. And so we're very much in the beginning stages and we're doing our discovery on if we are to launch these products, A, how do we do it? But B, more importantly, if we were to do it, we want to do it in a way that doesn't compromise the cold storage custody. Because in my opinion, wealth generation is great, but wealth preservation is the most important thing. And so thinking through, okay, if we are going to offer it, how do we do so in a way that continues to uphold the security angle and our custody solution that we provide? So the short answer is yes. As you can imagine, these things don't get built overnight. So we are working through it with our dev teams. It's certainly something they're working on currently. And once we have more information, we've got something more concrete to announce, this community will be one of the first to know.
So Lambden Entertainment says, will you let them take your crypto? Okay, I guess I'll leave the answer like this. I'm not trying to catch a case with the federal United States government. So I'll just end that answer like that. Let's look at another question here.
Yeah, all I would say to that is just like, as I mentioned before, they're not our company assets. So if in any random reason, which again, I don't see why they would, either the Australian government or the US government would want to take our company assets, first of all, that would just be like illegal. Like, I don't even see how that would happen. But if it were to happen, it would be just our company assets they would go after. They legally couldn't go after the client assets because we're not the legal owners of them. You are as the client. So they wouldn't even be able to have access to that. But in that scenario, if we had to go under or whatever, like again, I don't really understand what the question really is. But if that was to happen, the first thing we would have to do is send all those client assets back to their legal owners because we're not the owners of them. We just custody on behalf of you as the client. So again, I would not really stress about that. If that's something you're really worried about, it's just not going to happen. It's never really ever happened. I would say no crypto business has ever had a government force it to give over their assets or what have you. So again, I wouldn't stress too much about that scenario. But again, you're the legal owner of your assets when you work with us. So that should give you peace of mind as well.
Somebody asked, what is the cost of the Crypto Hawk lawyer? It depends on each person. And what I'd rather have you do, instead of just asking what's the price, click on the link, talk to the lawyer for free. This lawyer is normally $400 an hour. You're going to get a free consultation, about 20 minutes or so with the lawyer. Super friendly. They're not there to sell you anything. They're there just to explain what they offer and why you need protection. And I'm going to leave it at that. Let the lawyer call you up. They're nice people. Just like Kalen Brown, I got the law firm. They're not going to try to sell you some shit you don't want. If you don't want it, I don't even think they ask you to buy it. They're going to send you an email if you want it, and you click on the email because they're not going to be like, so do you want the service? They'll just, here you are, da 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 da. Jim, I'll send you to your email a link if you're interested. Thanks for sharing the time. That's what they do. So if you can't do that, then I'm not telling you the price. You can talk to the lawyer, big boy. You can do that. Kalen Brown states crypto is safe on Fireblocks. So we already answered that question. Okay. Let's take a look. Any chance Kalen Brown could allow trades under $500? You guys could use a AMM to facilitate trade volume. Go ahead and take that one, Jim.
So I guess the short answer to that is not really. We think 500 is pretty generous. If you can imagine, I guess, all of the work that we do for our clients around the brokers, but also a lot of what we do with our trading team to get the best prices possible to work with liquidity partners. We do have a minimum trade size, anything below 500. In fact, even at 500, it's probably a loss-making trade for us as a business. And so, given that we're providing an institutional grade service, we're offering custody solutions that are only really valuable to the largest institutional providers and crypto businesses globally, but we provide it to retail clients. We do have to have a trade minimum. And to be honest, I think 500 is pretty generous in terms of the overall service you get with us. In terms of how we funnel liquidity, we don't use AMMs. We actually go through a range of OTC desks, different liquidity partners, different dexes and exchanges to ultimately get you the best price possible. So it's not like we use that and then we could use an AMM on the side because that's where you're then compromising on both counterparty risk exposure, but also in terms of our custody solution, it wouldn't really flow through correctly. So yeah, look, unfortunately, if you're looking to trade under that 500 USD, we can't accept it. Unless you're looking to do a very sort of test transaction as a new user. And that's kind of, I think it will stay that way for the long term.
So let's break this down a little bit. I have been getting some new people, And so let's go section by section, maybe a couple sections. Number one, you talked about some stuff, the Fireblocks custody. Show why that's a benefit rather than just put your money on a wallet or something. Or why is Fireblocks important for Caleb and Brown?
Yeah, so Fireblocks is one of, if not the preeminent custody solution provider in the crypto space. As I mentioned before, they work with the largest banks in the world. They work with the largest crypto businesses. And essentially, the benefit that you get as a client is that when you deposit your assets into Caleb and Brown, you're using our custody solution. Your assets are held in cold storage. They're not commingled. They're vaulted away. Only you have access to them and can authorize any trade or movement of those assets. And so ultimately, you get the benefit of using your own hardware wallet, but you also get the accessibility element of you can access those funds when you want. So if you're overseas and you want to make a quick trade, you can do so. And so for a lot of clients, that gives them the peace of mind that even if they're compromised on their end, which unfortunately does happen quite a lot with our clients, whether that be their email gets compromised or their phone gets SIM swapped, your assets are still very much protected with Calvin Brown because they sit in cold storage. If you ever want to withdraw those assets or move them elsewhere, we'll call you. We'll verify who you are. If you've been scammed, we'll know immediately because our brokers know who you are. And so you get that added benefit of just peace of mind that your assets are very much protected. It's protected through a layer and securitization process called multi-party computation, which means the private key for that specific wallet is sharded in 3 different parts. So this is top of the engineering stuff when it comes to protection of assets that we provide free of charge for clients. And you're not going to get that kind of custody anywhere else. In fact, if you hold your assets on, say, an exchange, a lot of the time those assets are then being traded on elsewhere or they're moving them from hot wallets to cold wallets. And there's a lot of counterparty exposure there. And so for us, we're just providing a top tier service when it comes to custody and protection because that's what our clients want. That's what they demand. And so we provide that. So again, you're getting that as part of your overall solution and custody preference with Caleb and Brown.
That's what I like is when I put my crypto in Caleb Brown, it goes into Fireblocks and it's mine. It's not lended. It's not staked to somebody else. It's always right there. Let's say buried 10 feet below the ground and nobody's touching it. So when exchanges are doing all this stuff, they're moving your crypto around. They might not have, like, if all of a sudden you want to get your crypto and everybody else on, let's say, a Coinbase or something, they may not have it all right there. Caleb Brown, my stuff is buried. It's locked up. It's always there anytime. In fact, I can call them up. I can email, say, sell it all right now. They immediately put in a sell order. And by the time they talk to me and everything, the sell's already done. They just need to verify who I am. I could sell it all. I could have $500 million and have it transferred to my bank account right away. Now, there's going to be a little bit of stuff that's going to happen, but it's not like I have to wait and take out $10,000 a day for the next 300 days. If my crypto goes to $100 million, I'm calling Caleb Brown tomorrow, cashing out, and that check will be in there as fast as my bank will allow it. You won't find that on other places. You guys are getting a custody solution that institutions have. You're lucky to even have it. And this whole $500 thing, this is a business. They're not dealing with broke people. They're dealing with businesses that buy a 50 million XRP, 10 million X. They're not trying to get people that got $20. And it's not that you are lucky to have a professional brokerage ship like this with Fireblocks. So that's what I wanted to say with that.
Yeah, and then like another benefit of it all, as Hulk said, is that you actually have a dedicated resource. You have a person there that's there to assist you and help you throughout your crypto journey. So if you're someone that doesn't like logging onto portals or using your phone and having to log on to a platform to execute a trade, great. You can just email your broker with your trade request and our team will execute that within the minute. So you get the added benefit of, hey, I've actually got someone that I can call about me and my particular portfolio, which is really quite valuable because if you go on an exchange, you've got a question around, hey, I'm holding, XRP and I'm thinking I might need to diversify into another asset to have both exposure to both. There's no one to talk to on an exchange about that. Whereas with us, you have your dedicated broker who knows you for you, understands your risk profile, understands what you're trying to get out of this space. Like, you hold in for the next 5 years. Are you looking to try and trade through and try and make profits recently? Because that's what will all impact the overall service quality that you get. So it's ultimately tailored for you. And so that's valuable in itself. And so I think certainly if you're new and you're not quite sure how to get started in crypto and you're listening to Crypto Hulk, Caleb and Brown is a great way to get started because you're going to have someone there to help support you throughout the journey.
We have a question here. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to. Jim, will Caleb Brown offer the crypto called Rise, Rize token anytime soon? Now, what Rise is they perform real estate tokenization on the Canton network. So it's still a very obscure kind of a small crypto, probably with difficult liquidity, but they were just wondering about that one again.
Yeah, same as the Bank Social one, unfortunately. Like, the market cap's under 10 mil. Trade volume's a bit better than Bank Social. It's around 90K in the last 24 hours. But for us, it's just not a sufficient enough amount for us to list it. Rise probably gets asked every single one of these we do. So it's certainly on our radar and it's one we're looking at. But at this stage, it's just not large enough for us to list it, unfortunately. Canton's different. So Canton, we do list. And if it sounds like Rise is built on top of Canton, that's great for Rise because Canton's done really well for a lot of clients. But at this stage, it's just not one that's sufficiently large enough for us to be able to list. And yeah, that's where we're at with that one. But we'll keep our eye out on Rise.
So, you guys, it's kind of like this. Sometimes people can find crypto when they're early, all right? And so this is just me, not you. But what I did is I bought Rise, I put it on a wallet somewhere, and if it ever gets to a point where it's gonna rip, then Caleb Brown will, of course, they can't get into cryptos that are too sketchy. So they have to wait for this one to kind of show more promise. And like with us, I'll buy it. And if I lose money, I don't care. But this is a business. Caleb Brown's a business. They can't be like, well, let's go buy some shit and hopefully it works. No, that's what we do. You and me, we're the ones who get in early, take risks. Maybe Rise ends up at zero. Maybe it ends up at hero. Just buy the damn shit if you want. It's your choice. It's your life. And put it in a hardware wallet or whatever and just wait. And one day, if Rise becomes something great, because we don't know, we're just speculating, and Caleb Brown holds it, then transfer it. Right. That's what I'm gonna do. I got it on my phone. And if Rise ends up to be garbage, then oh well, not a big deal. But if it ends up becoming a great crypto, then Caleb Brown's gonna have it. So that's the answer to that one. Um, Jim, this guy named Earl Register said, been trying to connect with Caleb and Brown to get my Anderson EIN connected to my business brokerage account.
Yeah, no worries, Earl. I would just recommend reaching out to your broker and providing that EIN, and they'll be able to get that attributed to your account. If you're having difficulties getting hold of your broker for whatever reason, feel free to email me. I'll put my email in the chat here in a minute. Just feel free to reach out to me, and I'll get that connected up with your broker. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you're having any issues. And then someone else asked, will there be any events in Fort Lauderdale this year? It's a great question. We do definitely want to do more events within the US, and certainly with our office presence there and our large US team now living there, it's definitely something we're looking at. Fort Lauderdale specifically, I know the team and Andrew, who's leading our practice over there, is wanting to do more stuff with our clients. So I don't have anything organized and set in stone yet, but certainly in the future, we'll be looking to do more of those events. And something that we're even considering, I haven't spoken specifically to Hulk about this, so let me know if there's something you guys would be interested in, is doing like Caleb and Brown and Crypto Hulk like sponsored event where it'd be a Crypto Hulk event with Caleb and Brown, and we'd have community members come and have a chance to meet our team and potentially meet Hulk as well. Not sure if we'll do those things, but there are sort of the ideas that we're thinking about. So if you'd love to attend something like that and you think that would be great, let us know, because yeah, we're thinking about how are the best ways that we can engage our community and our client base as much as possible moving forward in the US.
I think that would be pretty fun. I'd like to go out to Florida, and I've never really, I can't remember being to Florida, so I want to see what Fort Lauderdale's like. And I want to meet you know what? It's just, you know what? We're a part of something. Like, I love this. It's we have, you guys check it out. Like, we got a brokerage with like real people, like real brokers willing to help us. We could email, call. Do you realize how, like, that's VIP stuff? All right. What all the brokies got is Coinbase, Kraken, and I got some little bit of stuff on Kraken there, but it's like, can you meet like the people running the show there? No, not unless I got a net worth of maybe 100 million. Then they'll probably meet us, right? But what you're seeing right here is you got a brokerage with real brokers. You might even have the director of the building there. Who knows? Maybe not, whatever. But it's like, I want to show you that this is an opportunity that we have, that that's one of the reasons why I'm very excited with this company is I get an access to a broker, and then we can go to that office and talk with them about crypto stuff that's meaningful to us. We'll get some insights that maybe we can't say on the air or whatever. And a chance to meet other crypto Hulk people. I mean, I don't know about that one, but I think it would be fun. And I would hope I can get the time arranging, because I got some challenging time frame stuff in my life and responsibilities, and I can't just all the time pack up and hop on a plane. But if I can pull it off with my schedule, I think that'll be fun. I look forward to going there, maybe having like a little luncheon meeting kind of a thing, and a meet and greet kind of a thing. And I think that would be fun, because I want to be a part of something. And this is like a real business. I don't know if the Anderson Advisor lawyer could show up. I could talk to them, and they could maybe, I don't know if they have any Florida lawyers that could show up really quick to talk to you guys. And but shit, I mean, it's all possible. I can, so whatever we kind of want to create, we can. I know that in the future, when this crypto finally takes off, I hope to have, now I haven't really said anything to anybody, but I hope to have a wealth investment type company working with, and everybody's got to get along in this little Caleb Brown Anderson Advisor. If I bring in an investment company to help us with starting a business or whatever, all the members would have to be in full agreement. Who knows what happens? Maybe I want to invest in apartments or something. Maybe we have, I don't know. The future is open with Caleb and Brown and are investing in crypto, and it's just it would be an exciting time. So yeah, I think we'll see what happens, and maybe have a meet and greets at some point. I think that's definitely in the cards. So I'll end it at that. Let me check some questions here.
So a question came in from Trevor Short around, will you be coming to the UK anytime soon? It's a very topical question. Look, as of right now, our main demographics are Australia, New Zealand, and the US. That's really where our main focus is, just because they're our largest markets. Now, the UK is very much one that we are planning to reopen again, hopefully in the short term. There's a lot of work we've had to do on our side to become compliant within the UK. If I told you some of the things that we'll be required to do for UK specific clients, you'd think I'm crazy. It's very restrictive in my opinion, but ultimately we love the UK market. It's a really big market for crypto, and we used to back in the day even have an office presence in London. So we are actively looking at the UK. I have been giving timelines, but ultimately now it's not up to us. We put through our submission, and it's with the relevant authority there to review it and approve it. That we were told could be a couple of weeks, could be a couple of months. But certainly we're doing all of the work on our end to reopen to the UK. So what I would say is if you're British and you are listening to this right now, please feel free just to reach out to me just to let me know that you're interested in working with us, because I'm putting together a bit of a list just for when we do eventually go live to let all of those UK residents know that they can start using Caleb and Brown again. So I don't really want to put a timeline on it because, to be honest, it's not up to us now. We've actually done all the dev work. We've done all the compliance work on our end. It's very much with the UK authorities to give that review and approve our submission. So
Cool.
hopefully it'll be in the short term. At the latest, I'm hoping sort of middle of this year. But yeah, if you are UK based, so Trevor, please feel
Woo-wee.
free to reach out with that email I put in the chat, and you can reach out to me, and I'll let you know once I know more.
How amazing. Oh my God. United Kingdom, they're working on it. United Kingdom, contact what? Send them an email? Is that what you want?
Yeah, just send me an email, just letting me know that you're a UK resident and you'd love to use our service, and I'll add you to our list. You'd be surprised how many people have reached out over the last couple of years based in the UK that want to work with us. And they have very strict promotion and marketing laws there, which was the reason we initially exited. But we're working on coming back into that market and actually just abiding by all
Wow.
these restrictions that are in place. So, without going into too much detail, like one of the main restrictions for our UK residents, which is quite annoying, is that when you eventually sign up and verify with us, you actually have a 24-hour cooling period. So you can't actually make any trades or do anything in the first 24 hours. And so there's little things like that that we've actually had to just build through our platform that, if you're a US client, you've never had to experience that. So we've had to build out those things, which has taken time. But we're pretty much ready on our side. It's just we need to get the approval from the relevant authority to get started.
Wow, that is totally awesome. UK people. Wow. Because yeah, for the longest time, the UK people are like, why can't we get crypto? Why can't we have Caleb Brown? Blah blah blah. And now all of a sudden, we heard it from Caleb Brown. They are currently working on trying to hook up the UK. They're going through processes. So that is pretty amazing. I haven't heard that at all. I mean, I've been with Caleb Brown for a year, and I didn't. Uh, I didn't have a history of Caleb Brown before this, so I didn't know. I'm new to the company, to working with this company, and that's pretty awesome. So I got a lot of people from the UK. So if you're from the United Kingdom or you know somebody, tell them to all you guys that send emails to Jim's email and blow it out and get like 10 million people in there. But let's check. So that's cool. That's very, very awesome to see. Um, John Follett, he's a member of my channel, just got verified today with Caitlin Brown. He wants to buy crypto. We were talking yesterday, and he's like, Crypto Hulk, I want to buy some crypto at Caitlin Brown, but I got to wait for 24 hours or some kind of KYC stuff. So he said he's just got verified. So I'll be getting a call from John, and John's gonna be like, Crypto Hulk, help me go shopping for crypto. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what we can do.
I can
So
see. Yeah, I just had a quick look for John, and he's actually got Sean as his broker, who is Hulk's broker. Sean's one of the best senior brokers we have here at Calvin Brown. So good to see that you're verified and signed up, John, and we look forward to working with you.
I want to buy, here's Black Maroon. Black Maroon says, I want to buy crypto on Caleb. How are we doing as far as time? We got 10 minutes, Jim?
Yeah, 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. I want to buy crypto on Caleb and Brown, but the bank transfers are so expensive. Will there be an option for straight credit card purchases on Caleb and Brown?
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, usually bank transfers don't cost anything, but I know that there are some US banks that will charge pretty crazy rates to do a bank transfer. What I would recommend, there's a few things. The first is that just simply try another bank. So if you've got another bank account elsewhere, there are some banks that charge crazy wire fees, some charge none at all. So I would certainly just have a quick look online to see what banks are friendly for that. The second thing is that first, like we are looking at other ways for clients to on ramp. I know it's a bit of a frustrating one, and it's probably one of those systems that we need to improve on. It's very common in Australia to do wire transfers. In fact, it's mostly what we do here, but I know that within the US, it's actually quite unique. So we are looking into potentially the use of credit cards and people being able to do it that way. We've just found in the past, when we've looked through those solutions, that a lot of these credit card companies charge quite a lot of fees as well to do a simple USD transfer. So we are looking into that. In the meantime, though, what I would say is that if there is no other way or there's no other bank that you can use, you can always leverage, and I hate to say this, but you can always leverage another exchange to buy your USD or move stable or buy stable coins through that exchange. and then just simply transfer that over to Calvin Brown to then buy the crypto you want to buy. It's not the ideal process, I know, but ultimately, if you're going to get charged significant wire transfer fees, it may be better just to buy it on exchange and then move it over to Calvin Brown and then make the purchase of crypto with Calvin Brown, if that makes sense.
Let me look here to the next question. Next one, Vegas. Somebody's talking about Las Vegas. I can't make the XRP Las Vegas. I got responsibilities, and that's not going to work with my time frame. I was planning on it, but I've got stuff that I can't go.
So another great question that's just come through from Earl, which is great to discuss, is, well, not great to discuss in terms of the topic, but in terms of how we can help. The question is, what happens to your crypto assets on Calvin Brown if your loved one, I assume, passes away? This is a really important topic and one that I think a lot of people don't think about enough. We've seen countless scenarios over the years where people have held a large amount of crypto. Their family members either don't know that they even hold the crypto, or if they do know they hold the crypto, they have no idea how to access it. And so a lot of the times people will pass away and there's just crypto that's left on the blockchain. It stays there forever. And that's a really bad experience for everyone involved, especially if a lot of people are buying crypto to hold it to actually give to their family members one day. So again, another really important benefit of working with Calvin Brown is that you have a direct resource in terms of a broker to provide that kind of estate management information to. So a lot of the time, our clients will actually send to their broker their will, and within that will it'll be clear around the crypto assets that I hold with Calvin Brown. These are the beneficiaries they're meant to go to. So we are very experienced in this space. And to be honest, I think it's one of the best things that we do in terms of managing just what is a very stressful and sad time for the families of those clients, to make sure that those assets go to their rightful owners, and it's done so in a very seamless and stress-free manner, because the family's already dealing with, so many other things around the funeral and what have you. We try and make that process as seamless and make sure the assets go to the right owner as possible. So we always recommend for clients to provide that information to us so we can work with the relevant legal authorities to make sure that gets done quickly and efficiently. And we'd always recommend, even within your will, if you don't have one, get one. But in your will, make sure you explicitly mention where your assets are held. So we even say, it doesn't hurt in your will to say, hey, look, the assets that I hold with Calvin Brown, the beneficiaries for those assets are these people. And then we'll work with those individuals, whether they want us to transfer those assets to them or whether they want us to sell those assets, and then we'll send to them the US dollars. So that, again, that's something that is really beneficial of using a personalized service like us, is that we make sure those scenarios get sorted in an efficient manner.
Jim, to close off the show, tell us about the Apple, Calvin Brown on the Apple phone, or are you guys on Google or just Apple?
Yeah, just the Apple store, so just the iOS store. We've had an Apple app now for probably 6 or so months. I know that Hulk recently jumped on and gave it a go, which is great to hear. So, look, if you're someone that loves using their phone to do trades or look at the markets, you can download the Calvin Brown app on your Apple iPhone. Unfortunately, we're not available for Android users yet. But the app, in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, but it's a really great user interface. It's really easy to interact with your broker through the app as well, but also just to execute any trades that you'd like to do, or just look at how your portfolio is tracking. So you have the benefit of obviously logging into your account on a laptop, but you can also do so with the mobile app. If you are an Android user or you have a Google phone, you can still access your Calvin Brown account. You'll just have to do so through a browser. So it wouldn't be through a specific app, but you still have the same functionality to log into your account and do what you need to do through the browser.
So what I did the other day, I got some kind of email from Caleb and Brown, and some about an Apple phone app, or they redid it, or they added something to it, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't like using phones too much. I prefer my computer when I go on Caleb Brown, it's bigger. I'm getting older. My eyes are getting bad. I don't want to wear my glasses like I probably should. Um, I was shocked. The phone app was easy. It was kind of neat because it's like if I go on a trip somewhere, I got the phone right here and the app and stuff, and I can, it's just, I use this, it's on Apple, obviously, and I got the little icon right there. And I use two-factor authentication with Google, so it makes it more secure. And I thought it was kind of fun. It was easy for me to use. I'm a little bit on the older end, and and like I said, I just prefer a computer because everything's huge and big, and I can. But that app was easy to use for me, so I kind of liked it, and so that's my opinion with that. I think we are just about right out of time here, and I wanted to thank Jim for showing up. I'm thankful that we have a brokerage that we can work with, people that show up on our program, people we can call, people we can email. I met a lot of the Caleb and Brown staff when they came to the United States, and they were great people. We just had a little meetup, and I wanted to meet some of the people who I'm working with, and I think I met like 8 or 10 people, like somewhere in that range, and they were like a fun group of business people. I mean, really, like they were fun, and we conducted some business, and it was like just a great experience because they were like all the way over on the other side of the world, and I'm like, I've been associating with these people for like a year, and I don't even know who these people are. And I got to meet the SwiftX CEO, and that was amazing. Like this guy he wanted to know what the Crypto Hawk fans needed, or how can we, like, that's a CEO that wants to get stuff done. I was shocked. He wants to work with us and find out what our needs are to better understand and stuff to make his company better. And I mean, who am I, right? Just some guy. And I've never met no CEO of a company or whatever asking me this and that kind of questions. I'm just like, wow, that's kind of neat. That shows that these people they listen to you guys. I mean, a lot of these businesses, they don't even care about anybody, right? And so that's kind of like what I saw, my impression. Very teamwork oriented people, super friendly, open lines of communication. I've been in companies where the managers don't want to talk to nobody, and you're stupid and we don't want your opinion kind of thing. I've worked a lot in business, in the business world. I've held some good positions as well. And the Hilton Corporation, Hilton Worldwide and shit like that. I've done some stuff in my life I'm not going to discuss. But anyhow, Jim, any parting words?
No, but I would just say that, look, we didn't really speak too much about the market today. Obviously, it's quite choppy and a little uncertain. We saw some really positive days. Bitcoin, XRP, even Ethereum had some great green days of 8, 9% growth. And then that's kind of tapered off a bit, just simply because of everything that's happening globally at a geopolitical level. So, look, I think this is a very uncertain time, but usually that's when it's a great time to add to your position. Obviously, not financial advice, but I think for all of those that are still listening into Hulk, looking to learn and educate yourself and know more about this space, I commend you. And I think that's a great approach and way to be, because this is usually the time when Bitcoin isn't at its all-time high. That's when we're our most busy as a business, is when Bitcoin hits an all-time high and all of a sudden everyone wants to buy it, which is very counterintuitive, right? So right now we're a lot quieter as a business. This is usually the best time as an investor to be interested in this space. If you've got spare capital, look at potentially deploying that. Obviously, make the right calls around what assets are you interested in. Does it make sense for your certain price levels? But where we're at right now in the market, where it's really quiet, that's usually the best time to stay involved and stay interested in what's happening in this space. So thank you, everyone, for jumping on. As I said, we'll try and do these every couple of weeks. And if you've got any other questions, my email's in the chat. My Twitter is Jimmy_Baz. Give me a follow if you're on Twitter. But yeah, I'm always available for anyone in the Crypto Hulk community. So please feel free to reach out. And thanks for having me on, Hulk.
Yeah, Jim, my broker's name is Hamish Anderson. Just confirming if he works there before I add more funds.
Yeah, so Snafu, I just responded to you previously. Hamish is definitely a broker. Brown is one of our best. For anyone on the call that is unsure, similar to Snafu, go on our website, there's a meet the team section. You can see every single person that works in our business, which is very rare in crypto. We'll have our LinkedIn's attached so you can actually see we're real people. You'll see my face on there as well somewhere. So if you're ever unsure about a particular broker, because it is a fair question, sometimes people reach out pretending to work at Calvin Brown. Just go on the website. You'll see there'll be a meet the team section, and you'll see every single person that works in our business. So Snafu, go have a look on there. You'll see Hamish on there. And yeah, he's definitely someone. He's sits next to me at work, so he's just in the other room from here, and you're in good hands with Hamish. So yeah.
I remember really just quickly here when I was first approached by Caleb Brown. I got some guy named Jim Bazzini trying to contact me, and I'm like, this dude's a scam. I don't even know who this guy is. The next thing is why the hell he want to work with me? So I was spooked like this was some kind of voodoo scammer guy. And he's like, can you go to the website of Caleb Brown? I'm like, yeah, I look on there. Can you go to this section? So can you see all the people there? I'm like, yeah. Do you see a guy named Jim Bazzini? Yeah, I see that right there. Okay, so it's the real website for Caleb Brown, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm on the right website. Okay, now we're gonna do a video call and tell me if that's the same person. So we go on the call and it's like him. I'm looking at his video and I'm looking on the website. I'm like, that's Jim Bazzini. And I'm like, you're the real guy. You're not a scammer. So yeah, all the employees' pictures are there. Then he said, go to my LinkedIn. So I went to his LinkedIn, same picture, Jim Bazzini right there. Whatever social media he had, we went to one or two maybe. And he's like, that's my picture. Look on the website. So it's very legit. This company is legit. You guys are going to love it. I will see it in the next broadcast. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. We are done right there.